snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown.
Here he goes. It's Hester. Inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown.
Fields stumbling, trying to cut it back. Justin Fields making magic happen. There goes Fields. Touchdown!
Hurts on first down, fires downfield. It's Deshaun Jackson back in the lineup. This is the last 7 games, and he will take it 81 yards. A somersault into the end zone. His first touchdown of the season.
You're listening to the Pigskin Project, the world's #1 football podcast. Now, with more insights on all things football, here are your hosts, Ben Hansen and Ryan Matthews.
Wow, that was not the new intro. I'm sorry. Deleting that one. Anyways, welcome back to the Pigskin Project, where we do have Matt Hartman on, despite what the intro has to say. We're going to be talking about the AFC North today, and then wrapping things up with divisions and Pick'em next week. So a little bit of a change in direction compared to what we had talked about just last week. We have all 4 teams this week as well as all 4 teams next week. So be on the lookout for that. And then we will be pushing out a little bit more content your way regarding film reviews and stuff like that. If you guys have seen a little bit of that already with my Trevor Lawrence video that got put out and then taken out as well, I feel like there was a much needed, more in-depth version of that video that I could put out. So to kind of go along with the top tier content that we want to put out with you guys, I wanted to make sure to take that one down and then re-record it. So that one will be coming up soon. But without further ado, let's get on with the podcast show. Matt, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, chat. We are so close to finishing these divisions. We've been cranking these out on the YouTube. So if you missed a team, you will find it. Okay, dude. All right. That's where your mind goes, dude. All right. But no, I saw a video today that I wanted to get the juices flowing before everybody. I'm going to swing it to Ben first. We'll come back to me.
Yeah.
But how's Ben doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, it's getting close to football when that little tag underneath Matt's name changes from off-season mode to something. It's football, but we're powering through. The goal is to finish this half gallon of lemonade that I have by the end of this podcast. So it's going to be great. But
it's going to have to
how much is left? Yeah. We can't see.
I know that's the disappointment that the camera stopped working. I would say about 2/3 of half gallon is left. So
Chat, that's a lot of lemonade.
It is a lot of lemonade. But your question, Matt.
Yeah, my question. I saw it inspired by the Barstool employees. They made a video of underrated college football rivalry to really get the juices flowing for college football. We're really close. It was just something that came across, and I was interested to hear everybody's. But I put some parameters where I don't think they did. You can't pick your own team. I can't pick something like that. But I'll kick it off. My favorite rivalry that doesn't include Texas is the Apple Cup. Washington State versus Washington. I've realized that I have found myself watching that game for the last 8 years. Since the Minshew home game where they had a chance at the playoff in 2018 and it snowed. I've watched every game every year of that series, and so it's something that sticks out to me. I don't know why I always watch it, but I always enjoy it. Cam Ward's been involved in it, so I'll swing it to whoever.
Ben, go for it.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. I mean, I have a more well-known one and then kind of a deeper cut. The first one is the Holy War, BYU versus the Utes, and that
they hate each other.
They hate each other, and there's a long history between these two programs. And then for a long time, it kind of went away because then you had one in the Pac-12, one in the Big 12. But now they're both back in the Big 12, in the same conference, playing each other. It is so much fun. Again, there's a long history between it. If you guys really want to dig into it, I'm sure you guys can find it. It's not too hard. But my other one is some action. It's the Cannon Trophy. It's the Cannon Bowl between Central Michigan and Western Michigan. I mean, these are, again, another two programs that absolutely hate each other. And we've seen these games go back and forth, and these games go down to the wire. And it was just a couple of years ago where I was like, oh, let's throw on some action, where I found this game. And they play for this little Cannon Trophy, and it is so much fun. And again, if you're a sicko that watches action, I would 100% recommend watching the Cannon Trophy.
This one, I guess, for mine is pretty well known, and it's not something I'm going to go on about just because I'm probably as casual as it gets right now for college football fandom, which we're working on. But the Commanders Classic, man, you got Army versus. Oh no, I'm sorry, Army Navy game for one, and then Army Air Force 2, the Commanders Classic. But Army Navy is like the one that I was talking about for sure. Where I want to say it was just this year to where it was like, oh man, what was it like? Navy was good out of the two, I want to say.
Yeah,
they were both great.
They're both good.
Yeah, it's to where we all were just kind of looking forward to it because it's like their offense is so weird compared to like the typical, team.
And they face each other, so it's literally just option for 3 hours.
It's so much fun. It's like who can out option the other. It's so much fun.
It's just those two guys. Like, it is a weekend dedicated to just those two teams playing against each other. No one else plays. You get to watch triple option offense, and that's the only thing that you can watch, and it is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we get started with weekly news? What do we think?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
Yeah, let's do it. So, Shamar Stewart signed his contract. That's pretty fun. So that whole thing's done with. And I know that we talked about like not covering, like so and so signed their contract, whatever. But like this one's kind of significant just because it's been going on for so long. In addition to, I believe that rounds out the first rounders. I think the only second rounder that still has yet to sign is Quinshon Judkins. And
he's the only player not signed.
Yep. So it's been kind of tough in that situation. Do your own research with that one. But Shamar Stewart, guys, I hear there's some frustration that I need to hear about, and everybody else does too. What are we thinking?
Yeah, when I had saw that he signed the contract, I was looking forward to seeing the language that was kind of in that contract, because kind of the whole dispute the entire time was a language about the Bengals being able to void guarantees based off of certain situations, and Shamar Stewart didn't want to sign the contract because of that, which I fully understand. So when that contract got signed, I'm like, all right, let's see what the language looks like in this. It's still there. He did all of this holdout for what? It was an extra $500,000. I mean, for us, $500,000 is amazing, but for an NFL player, it's really not that much. I mean, it's the same value. It's 4 years, basically $19 million. Literally, the only thing that they added on top of that for him to sign it was an extra $500,000 towards the signing bonus that he gets immediately. And it's frustrating that, I mean, this has been going on for months now at this point, and you do all of this holdout and you cause all of this drama just to sign the contract that you didn't want to sign in the first place to begin with. So what was the point of it? It was frustrating. And again, go get your bag, and I'm happy that it came to resolution so we could finally stop talking about it. I just don't know why you were going to hold out to end up signing that contract that you didn't want to sign in the first place.
Makes sense. Matt, any takes on this?
No, I mean, just I think that if that's what put him over the edge, I think that's completely fair, because I think that's enough to, we talk about, we hear so many athletes talk about retiring family members. If that was the push over the edge to kind of be able to do that with a signing bonus right away. And then the other thing with Stewart is, like, he can't afford to miss any more football, because this is a guy who, even if I really like him in the draft and I had him as a top 15 player and I thought they got a value at 17, he needs to, like, play. And he's a very raw prospect, and he needs to figure it out on the field and get those live action reps. And also for him, he's probably looking over going, hey, Trey Hendrickson isn't here. I could be, the face of the the face of the line right now. Like, so it is what it is. But yeah, seconding Ben's point of like the language is still there, and I have mistaken that the language was brand new. Is that the Bengals have like they I think it's a part of Amarius Mims' contract that he signed last year, but overall to make a big holdout about the language and to sign it over, $500K signing bonus is interesting.
Yeah. And just to update everybody as well on the Trey Hendrickson stuff, just because we're talking about Bengals contracts.
Yeah.
He reported to practice. However, it doesn't look like a lot of movement has been made.
You know what that was?
Was
that was I'm tired of getting fined. That's what that was. Because if you report, you don't have to practice. You just have to be there, and it's like attendance in school. Like, you just need to sign Trey Hendrickson's here, and you won't get fined. That's what that was.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Next up, the Raiders have released Christian Wilkins. So that one was a little big for the week, as well as Treylon Burks getting released, waived rather than released, and then so did Cordero Patterson from the Steelers. So those are the releases for the week. Christian Wilkins, there's a bit of conspiracy around what's going on. So just know that there was some kind of the quote unquote weird activity in the locker room that was described by somebody that was in the scenario. But I'm really tiptoeing around what I'm saying with this one, just because like it could really be perceived different ways. And with that being said, I don't necessarily think that we should really, focus too much on this and just be like this was significant in a way that they lost a pretty decent D tackle. But
I want to hit on like this was the outside of Cousins was the richest free agent a year ago. This doesn't happen. And then the other part of it is that they are avoiding his guarantees. It's not about this issue that was reported by Schefter on the McAfee show. It's because this guy had a foot injury, and it seems like the new regime, because with Carroll coming in, he comes in with his own strength and conditioning coaches. They kind of were like, dude, you gotta get this surgery. You gotta approach this with some professionalism. And it seemed he just said, I'll get over it. Maybe he has a fear of surgery. I don't know. But you don't see NFL teams trying to void that much money. $35 million is a lot of money to try and void out of guarantees, and that's a flag. So, and the quote that they sent out was very somber.
Yeah. It had a weird.
It had a
definitely
like what happens with
tone to it.
Judkins or something like that. Like the things that happen off the field that are despicable things that put you in jail time. That is how I read it, and it's just.
Yeah, well, in kind of digging a little bit deeper into last year's class, it's kind of weird because 3 of your big money free agent deals along the lines all kind of went sideways, and then you include the Kirk Cousins into it all. Then you got Christian Wilkins who just got released. You had Bryce Huff who got traded this offseason. You had Jonas Jackson, which we know how that worked out. You can ask Ryan how excited he is for that. But, I mean, we saw a lot of these guys that came and got big money in literally just a year ago already on different teams, either cut or traded. And it just is a weird free agency class.
Yeah. Let's see. And then the extensions for the week. So starting off, Chargers and left tackle Rashawn Slater signed a 4-year, $114 million extension, $92 million guaranteed. Pretty decent, locking up their left tackle. I mean, just a good move altogether.
The richest O-line contract as of date. So, again, he gets to reset the market there. Just continues to push up that price if you want to extend your tackles.
Yeah. Broncos and wide receiver Cortland Sutton, 4 years, $92 million. So again, another good move for a team that needs it. And way to, not really drag that out too long either. Because, I mean, the whole situation in Washington with Terry McLaurin seems to be getting sticky. So I believe he's also reporting to practice, just to let everybody know. But Cortland Sutton deserved, I would say. And then Cowboys and tight end Jake Ferguson agreed on a 4-year, $52 million extension. Another good deal for the Cowboys as well. Probably not the extension that they're looking for. But that's
not the extension they were looking for, but a good extension nonetheless. I mean, Matt brought up a very good point about a tight end on your team, and I will let him kind of go into that really quickly.
Yeah, he's making the same as Cole Kmet.
He's years later now at this point too, and young. It's a good deal for them. But yeah, as you said, not the sign.
And that's the thing with Dallas too, is like they aren't like nervous about making deals. They're always hesitant about these like record-breaking deals. You know what I'm saying? Like a CeeDee Lamb, a Dak, a Dez, a Zeke, Dak both times, I should say. But like, there's always been these like little sprinkles, like Trayvon Diggs a few years ago, just like signed, and it just this is again with Ferguson where it's like, yeah, pay me what I'm worth. You give me 4 years, give me that 3 years of kind of security. I'm gonna get the ball a lot. Like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
And then one thing that I just wanted to note as far as like extensions, even though this deal isn't done yet, this was really cool for the Buccaneers. They reworked Baker Mayfield's contract so that he can make $30 million in guaranteed money in 2026. They're working towards an extension right now, but just like an overall cool gesture for a guy that's been doing pretty decent for you. Just kind of wanted to make note of that. Seahawks and GM John Schneider come to an agreement on a 4-year extension, so he'll be the GM through 2030, or through the 2030 draft. So that one's pretty good. Lastly, we have some training camp injuries. Ben, you wanna hit us with those?
Yes, we can get into that, but really quickly. I mean, along that Baker Mayfield line, we saw a little bit of that same thing happen with Minka. They kind of reworked his contract, and he was able to, I think it was like $16.2 million that he's now getting now. So good for him. And then the other like big signing that we saw, I think it was like on Friday or something, was Bernard Ryman getting 4 years, $100 million. I think 60 of it is guaranteed. I mean, he's making $25 million a year, which I think is good value for what he is. And he is ascending right now, and he continues to go up. And at the time and kind of where they are in their careers, it reminds me a lot of the Jordan Mailata contract and just getting ahead of it and paying your guy now, because in a few years, this market is going to keep on going up and going up and going up. And I really like that. I mean, only paying him $25 million, I think, here in 2 or 3 years, it's going to look like a great contract.
Another draft guy that's like so cool. Like, he was a tight end at Central Michigan, and like the guy's now making $100 million. Like, that's pretty cool. I remember scouting him.
Yeah, it was
breaking news. Fun. What's going on? I'm just kidding.
No, it was.
We getting invaded?
No, my phone actually went into SOS because I put it in the pocket of my chair. But that's besides the point. No, all right. Training camp injury. I mean, really, the big one that people were talking about was the Tyler Guyton one. They got lucky. I don't want to say lucky because he's still hurt and is out for a month. But they avoided something that could have been far more serious. It was originally like reported and feared that, again, he was going to tear his ACL, as you can see down there. But it ended up just being like a fractured bone and bone bruise for him. And that really could have been bad for them because they don't have any depth at that tackle position.
Yeah. Tyler Smith is playing left tackle. If this is a season-ending injury, that is my confirmed belief. That I think that would have been the direction they turned, and then the interior would have been very flimsy. Everywhere would be flimsy, but this is the best case scenario for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Two ones that probably wouldn't have been as significant if they didn't happen as close as they did to each other on the team that they happened. Kader Kohou and Artie Burns are both out for the season. Both I don't know if the Kader Kohu one is confirmed what the injury is, but it's definitely a knee injury. And Artie Burns has a torn ACL, and that is just hurting arguably the worst cornerback room already in the NFL for the Dolphins. And that's, again, not considering these guys, given these guys were depth, but it's still not a very good cornerback room. And then you add these two injuries on top of it. I would be shocked if they don't go out and make a signing for one of those three big corners that are left.
They've already made two.
Yes.
Mike Hilton and Jack Jones. So those are already confirmed, and they are getting practice reps as we speak. And those are kind of like the same rangy, versatile corners that they kind of target. So, but yeah, I agree with you. Like Kendall Fuller, who was on this team last year, is still a free agent. So there's still a world where, I don't think this corner room could have too many.
No, I mean, and again, there's still good options left out there with Rasul Douglas and Gilmore and Asante Samuel.
It's
So
the one
there's
position.
still, yeah, and there's still guys that are out there that could probably step in and start right away for probably like half the teams or like a third of the league at this point. And then kind of the last one that I wanted to cover, and the Matt will kind of clean up the ones. Is David Walker. Man, that one hurt. Just
on brand.
That one just hurt a little bit. I mean, he was going to be such a fun story for the Buccaneers, and just like a fun story as is. But now he's out for the season with a torn ACL. He's an edge rusher. You would have hoped that he was going to get some playing time with where they drafted and what that edge room looks like. But again, now he's out for the season with a torn ACL. And I mean, again, for him to turn into like, a fourth round pick out of Central Arkansas is really fun to watch. But we'll have to put that on a back burner for him right now, at least for the season. And then we'll see, where it goes next year. So,
all right, Matt. Anything else to add before we move on?
Yeah, I'll go as rapid fire as I can. Stafford had back tightness. It was day to day. Now it's week to week. So I don't think he's going to play any preseason. He wouldn't anyway. Joe Mixon is on the NFI list, which is the non-football injury list. He's likely to miss all of preseason. Fields had a weird scare where like people were like, "Oh, it's a lower body injury. He might have torn his ACL." All it was is someone stepped on his toe. He's back at practice.
The next day.
Yeah, Walter Nolan is going to miss time with a calf injury. Don't love that, especially for a rookie defensive tackle. And the way the season got derailed for Darius Robinson because he got an injury in camp. So that's interesting for them. Christian Gonzalez, the Patriots corner, has a hamstring injury. He's week to week. Again, bubble wrap him. Just save him for week 1. Darnell Mooney's going to miss camp with shoulder injury. Most of preseason is the reporting. Kenny Pickett injured his hamstring this week. He's going to be reevaluated soon. Hopefully that means more first-team reps. Like, Shador hasn't gotten a single first-team rep. I don't know if that's on purpose. I don't know if that's like a red shirt kind of thing. But hopefully they get more, just Gabriel and Shador specifically. Najee Harris still has no timetable due to his July 4th eye injury. That's what Harbaugh said. Isaiah Likely has a small foot fracture. Week 1 is still on the table. Martin Emerson, the Browns corner, tore his Achilles. He's out for the season. Xavier Worthy is in concussion protocol per Andy Reid. And then Maxwell Hairston, the Bills' first-round corner, has a knee sprain. He is week to week. That is all the injuries you would need to know going into camp if you're wondering why that guy's not out there.
Yeah, and hey, DJ ukulele time tomorrow. Second half of that football game, baby. It's gonna be
Trey
so
Lance
much fun.
and DJU, man.
Let's go ahead and get started, guys.
Oh, the Raiders. One more news thing. The Raiders just agreed to a contract extension with Colton Miller. So another tackle, $22 million a year. 3 years, $66 million is what I just saw per Jeremy Fowler. So that's another tackle. Just it's another run. It's around the range of Zach Tom. He's much older than Zach Tom. So, but yeah, that's another guy just throwing it out there just so we hit on it.
Nice. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do it. Let's do Ravens first. No, we'll do the Browns first.
Yeah.
Oh,
Browns first.
Browns.
This one will be quick for me.
What an audible.
All right, let's take a deep breath. Let's talk about the Browns. 3-14 last season. They were fourth in the division. They missed the playoffs. They were the worst offense in football, EPA per play, negative .179. They were, ironically enough, both top 16 in both pass block and run block categories. They were 10th in run block or pass block, 14th in run block. Their defense fell off a cliff from 1st to 18th, so that's a big problem. .018. But their pass rush win rate was 5th, and their run stop win rate was 34%, which was 1st. There was only 2 other teams who were top 5 in both of those categories, and I'm pretty sure it was the Bills and the Vikings. So, like, that's the Browns' territory. They were along the defensive line, which is really weird. They have Myles Garrett. But I do the quarterback. I did Flacco. Like, I'll throw Flacco on here because Pickett didn't play much. We have 2 rookies, so Flacco, of guys with like 300 passing snaps, .049 EPA per play, which was 22nd of 36 qualified quarterbacks, 47.4 success rate, which was 18th, so directly in the middle. And then I just had to go out and look. Deshaun Watson. We can say whatever we want about his off-field and stuff. He's never going to play a down of football ever again because he had the worst EPA per play for a quarterback since 2018 Josh Rosen. That is how horrific Deshaun Watson was on the field. It's the worst trade of all time. I'm fine stamping that. Sorry, Herschel Walker, you're pushed to the side now, buddy. Deshaun Watson walked through the door and hat tip to David Mugetta for getting a fully guaranteed $200 million for his agent or for his client. But we get into the offseason. Myles Garrett signed the big extension, 4 years, $160. He signed it relatively quickly. Remember, like, we were going to have all these trade negotiations in, like, June, and he decided, no, I kind of like $40 million a year. Devin Bush returned. He was just another throw-in here. He played some snaps for them. Their additions through free agency, Malik Collins, 2 years, $20 million. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, 1 year, $4.75 million. That's kind of just a swing on an edge rusher, see if he's good. Joe Flacco, as I mentioned, 1 year, $4 million. Cornelius Lucas, a swing tackle, 2 years, $6.5. And then Tevin Jenkins, swing guard, 1 for $3 million. Their draft. We talked about the Jags, how they were on the receiving end of getting the number 2 pick. Well, what did the Browns get for trading away Travis Hunter? Well, they drafted Mason Graham at 5. They received a 2026 first from the Jags, number 36, who we'll talk about in a minute, and a 25 fourth. So that became Dylan Sampson, which they kind of maneuvered around the board. But the rest of their draft was Carson Schlesinger, linebacker out of UCLA at the top of round 2. The number 36 pick was the guy who's not signed, Quinshon Judkins. I don't know if he does get signed. I don't know the whole situation. But it's really it's a sigh of like, man, we just can never get these right for the Browns. So again, maybe he reports, maybe he does this. I doubt it, though. I doubt it. And then Harold Fannin in round 3, Dylan Gabriel in round 3, quarterback out of Oregon, Dylan Sampson in round 4, and then Shedeur Sanders. They traded up to get him. That's their entire draft. This is the first team I put their entire draft because it was pretty easy to put because every name is recognizable. Their departures, Dalvin Tomlinson goes to the Cardinals, James Hudson goes to the Giants. Elijah Moore played a surprising amount of snaps for them, goes to the Bills. And then Jedrick Wills, still unsigned, their left tackle, a first-round pick in, I believe, 2020. Their season outlook question. Most teams, I talk about 2025. There is no answer I need for the 2025 Browns. They suck, and Myles Garrett is good. So the only question I have is the 26 starter quarterback on the roster? Like, is the guy that is going to start week 1 for 2026 on your current roster? I'm probably 70-30, no, but you need to figure it out. You need to figure out and give every opportunity to make it yes. They're going to start Flacco week 1. That's pretty much, like, guaranteed. They're going to try and win games. The only way, like, what does that accomplish? Like, pride? That's it. throwing Flacco out. I think Flacco should be kind of like strung along. Can you play 6 games for us? And then we're going to see what we got in these 2 rookies that we wanted. And Jimmy Haslam, the owner today, or not today, but like recently, went out of his way to say like Andrew Berry picked Shedeur. It wasn't me. So he's like this $1 billion owner couldn't handle the pressure of like, because remember that day it was like, well, the owner made him pick him. Blah blah blah. But yeah, that's my big thing. And like if you lose 35-0 each and every week, guess what? You figured out your answer. You don't have the quarterback on your roster, and you need to get one.
You drafted 2 quarterbacks, given not particularly high for either one of them, but you did just draft 2 quarterbacks. One that had one of the craziest falls, in draft history. It's hard for me to say that guy's not going to be on the roster right now, because I would guess it is one of Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel. But again, you never know how the season goes. I mean, so absolutely get it. I'm probably 70-30 he is on the roster, so I'm kind of the flip for you.
You think it's one of the 2 like
I think it's
day 2, day 3 guys. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, my main question is really the pass catchers. Can they find can Jerry Jeudy really turn into the wide receiver that we wanted when he got drafted, into the wide receiver that he showed he was, like the final 5-6 games of the season?
Yeah, he was really good down the stretch.
And Cedric Tillman. Can you bring Cedric Tillman around, and can he turn into a suitable wide receiver 3? He doesn't have to be wide receiver 2, but someone suitable. And can you at least try to build up these pass catchers so when it is time for whoever that quarterback's going to be, whether they're on the roster now or next year, or it's Arch Manning or whatever, that you have that ready and you have the infrastructure around that quarterback when you end up drafting whoever it is. So that's my big question.
I think that listen, we talked about this with our Browns fans, and I don't think optimism's very high. You know what I mean? The floor very low, ceiling also very low. Like, it's not fun, but there are still fun aspects to be looking at, right? Like, we talk about their draft and everything. Yes, they used 2 of their draft picks on quarterbacks and 1 on a running back that currently isn't signed because of allegations or, just straight up like bad things. And, right now, screw what you have to do in the season. It's a lost season. I am so excited to see Mason Graham and Myles Garrett on the same D line. That's like the highlight to me.
They targeted him. They knew, they went into that draft and said, we want Mason Graham. And you could tell because they freaking traded away that pick for a player that I think all 3 of us think is going to be generational. So you knew they wanted to pair him up with Mason Graham. And I wonder how much, or with Myles Garrett. I wonder how much Myles Garrett had an influence on that selection, but didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I mean, the only other thing that I'm looking at this roster, I tried to share the depth chart with everybody. While Matt goes through everything, I'll do it one more time here. And then we'll move on pretty quick.
Keep going.
I got you. So, Deontay Johnson's a Brown. That's kind of fun. It's stupid and he's not good anymore, but it's fun.
Yeah, is he going to be on like over under 1.5 teams for Deontay Johnson? You would have slammed the over last year when he was on 4 effing teams.
Yeah, I'm also excited to see how many reps Dylan Sampson gets in the offense, given the Judkins situation and how long that gets, drug out. Sampson was a fun one to watch in college, and then Harold Fannin, we talked about in the preseason as well. Behind Njoku, I think that's a fun one to kind of watch develop a little bit as well. But overall, I mean, this offense needs some work, and there's holes on the defense as well. But like, if Flacco is just still, I mean, don't get me wrong, Flacco's like bottom. Why do I keep doing that? I did that a bunch last week. If if Flacco's still doing like bottom 10, I would say right now, like he was like that fringe, like that back half of the like top 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But anyways, if Flacco can do that, I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what happens with this team. But
I'm
like I
watching
said,
Ryan in real time talk himself into the 2025 Browns. This is insane.
no, like I'm just saying, like, listen, when I say I'm low on this team, I'm low on this team. But like when I'm just
couple bounces.
there's a couple bright spots on the roster. I mean, like we could dookie on them all day, but I mean they're still losing to Chicago. That's
Just like
gonna
their
be fun.
helmets.
But anyways, all right, let's do top row, middle row, bottom row. So I'll go ahead and kick us off.
Could I?
They're not winning a single game on that top row.
I was gonna say,
It's not happening.
I don't know what your guys' prediction is, but like, I could make it really, really easy, and I mean
No,
not
you're
to like
not.
make it short for you.
You're not
but,
gonna
like,
say it.
no, I'm not, because it won't
Not
happen.
that, no.
It has been such a long time, and I don't know if it'll ever happen again. So no, it will not. But there are only 2 wins I have for them is Week 9 at New York against the Jets, and then Week 17 against the Steelers, because it's
Oh
the
my
Steelers.
god.
And-
You said
and-
week
and-
9. I thought you were gonna say they won the bye.
Yeah.
What?
Week 10 is the Jets. And week 9 is their
Yeah.
bye.
Oh,
And
my
you
bad.
framed
Sorry,
that
Week
with
10.
awesome.
Oh, yeah. Well,
No, that was
hey,
great.
Well,
That was
that's one of them. Week 9 and then won the bye. But no, I mean Week 10 against the Jets, and then Week 17 again with the Steelers, and like that's what it is for me. And I think it's the divisional aspect with the Steelers, and like I don't have a lot of confidence in Aaron Rodgers, and we'll get into that in a minute. But like that's it. It's the Jets and the Steelers. Period. Like that's how bad I think this team is going to be.
I'm going to follow up because Ben just did his. I'm just going to do mine. We'll just get the Browns out of the way here. The only wins that I'll have is because they'll always squeak out like they're going to do like one weird win out of nowhere. I'm going to say they beat the Raiders. They'll beat the Steelers week 17 and beat the Bengals week 18 to win 3 games. That's it.
The poor Browns fans that click on this video be like, "Ooh," like because we put these like this segment, we clip it out and post it on YouTube, and these poor Browns fans that are gonna watch this, like, what do these guys have to say? And it's just like a 5-minute video about why the Browns are gonna be bad. And
I think they know. I think they know.
Yeah.
But shout out the Browns because they're gonna start 1-0. They're gonna beat the Bengals week 1.
Oh,
I love it.
I think that's a classic Flacco game. A home against an awful defense. Like I think he could like run roughshod the same way like the Jags did a few years ago. Remember when they won week 1 and it's like holy moly, they're actually good. They're not. I have them the rest of the way beating the Patriots, and we all have them winning that Steelers game week 17. Shador's probably going to be starting. That's why. Perfect timing. But overall, like, I think their floor is like not like 1-2 wins. I think their trenches are just too good. I think I'm low at 3-14. It's weird. And maybe it's like just like doing the prep for every team. I'm like, well, I can talk myself into this team when I start doing the prep, but like with their stats last year, like the trenches is like they're good. So I'm confused. I'm gonna look up how Vegas sees this team because I keep forgetting to do that. But
yeah,
no,
it's a fun one. Yeah.
I get it from the standpoint of the defense. Like they could exceed the 2 wins that I have them because I do like some of the pieces that they do have on the defense. Obviously, with your Myles Garrett and your Mason Graham, obviously he's always going to have a special place in my heart. I mean, you drafted Carson Schwarzenegger that high because you're confident in what he has. And Denzel Ward, one of the better corners in the league. So, I mean, they have some pieces on the defense to win more than 2 games. for me, again, it really just comes back to that quarterback situation. But I definitely see where you're coming from, because again, there are the pieces on the defense that can get me excited, juiced up a little bit.
Their over-under is 4.5 with juice to the over. So again, like there's a like Vegas is saying, like we think they're gonna win 5 games. Plus 115 on the under, if you're kind of thinking the way we are. But again, I think it's hard to be a really, really god-awful football team when you have good trench play, and I think they do have it. I think there was a time where they were putting anybody next to Myles Garrett and they were still average. Now they've kind of like actually put good players next to him, and they've been pretty solid. Like you saw the stats before this. Like I talked before, like we really got into the depth of this. Like they were really good, and they were 3-14. So still, it could be a weird season. Quarterback could mean that much. Like it could really tank everything. And
it really could. And I'm being dead serious when I ask this question. What is the update on Mike Hall? Because I know you loved him coming out of last year, Matt, and like that was kind of the guy that you were higher on than consensus. But I mean, last time I checked, he was he injured? Like I just don't know what is going on with him. Yeah. I was wondering where that's coming from. He got into some legal issues last year around this time, but is he playing this year?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's on the PUP. But again, like there's not a lot of like optimism behind him right now because they brought in a free agent who's making $10 million a year, and oh by the way, drafted a guy at 5. So like the interior defensive line room is kind of log jammed with him. He's in it, but I don't think he's as vocal as I would have expected. He was so good at Ohio State, but I digress.
Yeah, that was easy.
Do we have any takes on this team? Is there any like hot take?
Dylan Gabriel is going to be the starter before Shedeur Sanders is, and
that's not hot.
I think that he's actually going to do better.
I'll tell you my hot take.
That's hot.
Kenny Pickett's best quarterback on this roster.
He's not on the roster, is he?
Yeah, he is. He absolutely.
Oh no, he is on the roster.
Yeah, absolutely is. He's better than Flacco, and I mean, for
I think he's 4.
I just saw this.
I think he's 4.
Yeah.
Which is so funny. I mean, if you guys listen to the podcast during this draft season, I was never high on Shedeur, given I never thought he was going to fall as far as he did, and Dylan Gabriel's fun, but I think Kenny Pickett is probably the best quarterback.
I don't care about your like I'm lower on Shedeur. He was picked at like 140.
I
like,
agree.
That was
and that's
a value
what I'm
from
saying.
anybody.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but I don't really obviously like that quarterback room at all. But I think Kenny Pickett's probably the best, despite him getting the least amount of snaps even prior to the injury.
Okay.
I think he's terrible. We'll leave it at that. Let's get on. Let's move on.
All right. So let's go ahead and start with the Ravens here. Matt, what do you got?
Let me pull up the old Ravens sheet. All right. The Ravens, they were 12-5 last year. They won the division. They lost in the divisional round to Buffalo. Mark Andrews, an internal pit for you. Offensive EPA per play, they were .199. That was first. We went from the Browns, who were 32nd, to the Ravens, who were first. Their pass block win rate and run block win rate, both third in the league. Their defensive EPA per play was negative .016, and it was not that for the whole season, I'll tell you that. Their pass rush win rate was somehow 33%, and they were 29th. They had a lot of like sack getters on this team, so that was interesting. Their run stop win rate was 30%, and they were 22nd. So the trench stuff was not as premier as you would maybe think on the outside. Lamar Jackson had another MVP-esque season, .296 EPA per play, which was second behind only Allen, I believe, and 52.4% success rate, which was fourth in the league. We don't need to talk about how good Lamar Jackson is. We know how good he is. Ronnie Stanley, their left tackle, was a guy they kept in the offseason, 3 years, $60 million. They kept him right before free agency. He was going to be the premier left tackle. I wonder if he would have made more if like he hit the open market. What do you think Tennessee would have paid if they could have had him instead of Dan Moore? It would have been interesting. But I digress. I think he wants to win a Super Bowl. That's why. Rashad Bateman, 3 years, $36.75 million extension. He still had 2 years left on his deal. So he's under contract till 2030. Derrick Henry signed a 2-year contract extension worth $15 million annually. He's under contract till 28 season. Pat Ricard came back. Fullbacks, they still exist. 1 year for $3 million. And then Ardarius Washington, who I think is currently nursing an injury. I don't think it's a season-long injury, but he is nursing an injury. He came back on that like RFA qualifying offer for like undrafted free agents. So he's on a 1 year, $3 million basic deal. Their free agency was pretty tame. DeAndre Hopkins, 1 year, $5 million. Jair Alexander, 1 year, $4 million. You know those names. Cooper Rush is their backup. 2 years, $6.2 million. And then Chidobe Awuzie, they did a ton of like 1 year little minimums. This was the one I wanted to highlight because he has had really good corner play in the last few years. He was just really, really down at Tennessee. He was really good with Cincinnati a few years ago. So again, there's something in the sprinkle like something in Baltimore that they get really good corner play out of these like older aging guys. Their draft, Malachi Starks was their first round draft pick at 27. Mike Green fell all the way to round 2, kind of to do with his stuff off the field. Emory Jones was picked in round 3, kind of a swing guard tackle hybrid out of LSU. And then they had 8 day 3 picks. I didn't want to highlight one of them. They just did it the Ravens way. They continued to just take shots in mostly the 4th round because they have so many compensatory picks due to free agents leaving. They took a ton. I assume one of them will be good because they always are. There's always someone. Their departures were not huge. Brandon Stevens, their outside boundary corner, they're going to replace that with Awuzie or Alexander. Pat McCary, their offensive guard, who's kind of played swing tackle for them and swing guard here and there. He goes to Jacksonville. And then Malik Harrison continues that pipeline of former Ravens linebackers going to the Steelers. So that was interesting to me. And then my season outlook question for this team: can the remade secondary continue on the trajectory it was on last season? Drop back EPA specifically. So this is just specific passing efficiency. From week 1 to week 10, they were .189, which was 30th. That is Panthers territory. That is how bad they were from week 1 to week 10 on, and it felt like it. From week 11 on, they made a switch to where Ardarius Washington came in at free safety instead of Marcus Williams, who they benched, and Kyle Hamilton kind of moved back to strong safety, kind of a rover thing. They then went on to be the best drop back EPA per play defense in the league. Negative .158, and it wasn't even close to number 2. Like, that's how good they were. They played in that stretch. You're probably saying, oh, they played bad teams. Pittsburgh twice, playoff team. Chargers, Eagles, 2 playoff teams, and then Giants, Texans, playoff team, and the Browns. That's who they played in that stretch, and they still were so dominant. We had that dominant Christmas game where C.J. Stroud couldn't cross the 50, it felt like. We were all snoozing by halftime. And then in the divisional round against Buffalo, they were negative .005. So if that was over the course of a whole season, it would be 7th. So they were continuing on this trajectory, but now they've remade the secondary in such a weird way. They're going to have a new boundary corner. They're going to have a new free safety in Starks, likely. So, again, can they continue on this trajectory? Can the talent overweigh what they were last year? Because if they were 15th in weeks 1 through 10, they could have been the 1 seed again. So, it's interesting.
That was exactly where, like, my broader outlook question was on them, too. That's why I was so excited and said yes when you asked it. And mine was obviously a bit more broad than what yours was, but it was, can Zach Orr and this defense build off of what that last 6 to 7 weeks of the season were for them? Because, again, as you said, they were the best defense when they were able to make that switch and allowed Kyle Hamilton to kind of roam around the field a little bit more. And if that secondary can improve and kind of build off of what they were last year, and then you drop in a Mike Green into that defensive line as well, and hopefully improve a little bit more of the production on that defensive line, then you're really cooking with fire. And then, I mean, maybe in a year's time, we're talking about Zach Orr even as a head coach somewhere. So
yeah. I'm excited about this team. Let's get into it. So let's see. We'll just do 2 rows at a time. How about that? Does that sound cool? I'll try not to mess it up, I promise.
Yeah.
So I have them beating the Bills, beating the Browns, beating the Lions, losing to the Chiefs, losing to the Texans, beating the Rams. 4-2.
I have them losing to the Bills and then all the way up into that Week 7 bye, winning every game, including beating the Browns, the Lions, the Chiefs, the Texans, the Rams.
Yeah, I have them winning those first 6 games. Again, I think the pivotal game within that, with the 2 pivotal games, obviously within that stretch, are your Bills and Chiefs. Actually, I lied. I have them losing to the Rams before the bye week. I lied. I'm sorry. So I have them starting off 5-1. And I mean, again, I'm not going to do it because we'll go game by game for this Ravens. But I could really make this Ravens schedule as easy as I made the Browns on the flip side of that. But yeah, I have them starting 5-1 going into that bye week.
Should we make it as easy?
No.
All right. They're going to beat the Bears, beat the Dolphins, beat the Vikings, beat the Browns, beat the Jets.
I have them. What does that put them at? Do you have them losing yet?
Yeah, I had them losing.
Oh,
against
you had
the
2
Chiefs
losses.
and
You
the
had 2
Texans.
losses. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was blending yours and Ben's together. I have them beating the Bears, beating the Dolphins, and then a long bye. I have them losing to the Vikings, beating the Browns, and then beating the Jets, putting them with 2 losses. Yeah, 2 losses.
Yeah, 9-2 for both of me and Matt. Ben?
Yes, I have them winning all 5 of these next games against the Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, and Jets. That Vikings game was kind of the hard one in there. That game I think is going to be a lot of fun to sit down and watch. But yeah, I have them winning these next 5 games.
It's Flores versus Lamar, baby.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I have them 10-1 through the first 12 weeks.
And then to finish my schedule off, I have them beating the Bengals, beating the Steelers, losing to the Bengals, beating the Patriots, beating the Packers, beating the Steelers. To finish 14-3. The exact opposite of the Browns.
I have them losing the Thursday night matchup on Thanksgiving night to the Bengals. I have them beating the Steelers. I then have them beating the Cincinnati Bengals in a rematch, beating the Patriots, and then losing the last 2 against the Packers and the Steelers. It's always a weird Steelers game for them, so I just threw it in there.
Yeah.
And we'll
What's your
that will be important later when we
what's the end result there?
12-5. Same as last year, kind of just pace themselves to the finish line. Again, it's another just like, can we get in the dance because we have maybe the best player on the planet? Like, can we continue to get in the dance and figure it out? We'll get it one of these years.
Yeah. I have them winning those first 2 games against the Bengals and Steelers. Then I have them losing that rematch against the Bengals. And then I have them beating the Patriots and Packers as well. And at this point, going into week 17, it won't matter because they would have lost only 2 games on the season. They were going to sit their starters. I know it's not like the fun that everyone wanted because it's in division, never how it goes. But I do have them losing against the Steelers because all of the starters will be sitting at this point. But I have them going 14-3 as the clear best team in the NFL. That is the best record that I have said and will say, that I don't think that's a shocker to anyone. And again, it comes down to, can this offense continue to produce and can this defense build off of, like I said, in that, opening for the Ravens off of how they ended last year. And I really do think they can. And again, we're going to leave this saying, well, wow, that was one of the most dominant runs we've ever seen in the regular season from a team.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. This is a fun one. Oh, for sure.
No excuses. I mean, that's what we said when they did when they signed the the Jair thing. Now they have no excuse. Like you said, they have arguably the best player on the planet. The defense is alive. I mean, the only thing that you can question is the wide receivers and kind of what they have there.
That's my take.
But just run out 12 personnel. Just run out a 12 personnel set and just have Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews on the field always at the same time.
Likely, what's the status on him? Because he had an injury at camp. Is that going to be something that lingers into, the regular season? Or I think that's the question that still has to be answered, right?
They're saying he's going to be it's still on the table for week 1. I think it's just a way to bubble wrap him now, figure it out. I think fractures in your foot, it's not fun to deal with, I imagine. But and he was really close to an extension, was the rumor mill. But I have a take on this team. Rashad Bateman gets 1,000 yards this year.
Oh,
the Bateman heads are up. All right, this is going to be classic Ravens. All right, they're going to get this extension done, and then he's just going to pop off, and everyone's going to go, oh, the agent Bateman himself is, oh damn, man, we could have hit an open market, and he's just going to be too good. He's just going to be too good. I'm looking at last year's stats. He's right there, man. We're going into year 5. 756 yards last year. He had so many splash plays, 9 touchdowns. We break the 1,000 yards this year.
That's fun.
Ben, do you have it?
I think my 14-3 for them is probably big enough.
Your hottest.
Yeah. is probably
they're minus money to win the division again, by the way.
Which doesn't surprise me at all. I think we leave this season again with Zach Orr as kind of that top coaching candidate that everyone wants to go out and sign, and it's just a matter of I wouldn't rule it out, even if he's that top coaching candidate, kind of pulling a Ben Johnson saying, nah, I'm staying here, because the guys in that building absolutely love him, and he absolutely loves the Ravens. They're just going to be good. That's my take.
Yeah. I'm going to save my take for a couple more weeks. You guys know what's up. Yeah. Season outlook. We'll have an episode about it. Bengals. Matt, what you got?
Oh boy. Silliness category are the Cincinnati Bengals. They were 9-8 last year. They missed the playoffs. They were 3rd in the division. They were 7th. Somehow only 7th in EPA per play. 0.108. And then their pass block win rate was 50%, which was 32nd by a pretty good margin. And then their run block win rate was 68%, which was 30th. So I didn't go through, but I have to imagine they're the only team in the league that was bottom 3 in both categories, and they still put up a 7th in EPA per play offense. Their defense was 27th, 0.054. That's why they fired Lou Anarumo and brought in Al Golden from Notre Dame. Their pass rush win rate was 37%, 20th, and their run stop win rate was 29% at 25th. Joe Burrow was fantastic, as he is. 0.212 EPA per play, which was 4th, and a 53.2% success rate, which was 2nd. Their offseason was headlined and is still currently being headlined. But the main headlines was signing Ja'Marr Chase to, at the time, the richest annual deal for a non-quarterback, 4 years, 161. He's under contract until 2030. And T. Higgins, 4 years, $115 million. He's under contract till 2029. But the kicker between him and Chase is T. Higgins' contract does not have void years attached. So there's no real desire to move money around for T. Higgins' contract, where for Ja'Marr Chase, they have multiple void years. The only 2 players on the Bengals, Burrow and Chase, are the guys with void years. So that makes me believe that there is an out after the 26th season, so the next 2 years, and T. Higgins, they will save money if they were to cut him. So I would keep that in mind for the Bengals. I think this is a 2-year window. This is a 2-year shot to do it with this core, with those 3 guys. Mike Gesicki, they also re-signed 3 years, $25 million. Joseph Osai, that was brought back, Hook'em Horns, 1 year, $6.5 million. Geno Stone, who was kind of a surprise for like how bad the defense was. He was a pretty good player. 1 year, $6.4 million. And then B.J. Hill, interior defensive lineman, 3 years, $33 million. Their free agency, relatively tame. T.J. Slayton, who is a big run stuffer from the Packers, 2 years, $14 million. Oren Burks, who came over from, I believe he was with Philly for that playoff run, 2 years, $5 million. The Lucas Patrick from my Saints, 1 year, $2 million. I think he's going to compete for that right guard spot with Cody Ford, I believe it is. So, you know, if they could get better guard play, they'll need it because that offensive line, it was really, really bad. And then last but not least, Samaje Perine comes back. He was on that Super Bowl team, 2 years, $3.6 million. Their draft, obviously headlined by Shamar Stewart in the first round. They finally got a deal struck. Demetrius Knight Jr. in round 2. Dylan Fairchild, who's also a guard from Georgia. He's going to kind of compete for the guard spot. I don't know if he has the inside track much like Patrick does because of the longevity of Patrick compared to him being a third-round rookie, but I believe he's getting some work there. And then Barrett Carter from Clemson as an off-ball linebacker, so they doubled up on off-ball linebacker. Their departures, Alex Kappa, a guard, he goes to the Raiders. He was pretty bad last year, so addition by subtraction there. Jermaine Pratt, obviously he was a headline release at the time a few weeks ago, I want to say. But again, another guy they kind of funneled in Burks and the 2 draft picks. And then Mike Hilton, he goes to the Dolphins. And then my season outlook question, obviously, are any of these expensive defensive draft picks gonna break out in 25? Because, damn it, do they need it? Like, they need it really, really bad. This team was handed a layup in 2020 by the name of Joe Burrow, and he has made his dues. They also repaid him by getting T. Higgins in that same draft, and T has been a fantastic player. And then 21 followed up with another layup, and this just brought me back. Remember Jamar Chase versus Penny Sewell debates, guys. Oh, my goodness. Do you think either team is like, man, wish we had the other guy? Like, no, everyone's happy, and the Bengals would have been handed another layup. Whoever they took was going to be awesome. But 2022 on, we're going to go through it. It's a nightmare in the worst of ways. 2022, this is just the top 3 rounds. And just listen to the amount of defensive players they have taken. They've taken 10 in the last 3 years. Just total. Dax Hill was a safety in round 1. Cam Taylor-Britt was a corner in round 2. And Zach Carter, not on the team, don't know if he's in the league, was an edge rusher in round 3. I think he was Florida? Florida, that's testing the knowledge. Miles Murphy in 2023 was their first round pick. I really wanted him for the Saints. DJ Turner, a corner in round 2. And then Jordan Battle. Oh, hurts me. Jordan Battle in round 3, a safety. And then 2024, Amarius Mims in round 1, an offensive tackle. Chris Jenkins, interior defensive lineman in round 2. And then Jermaine Burton in round 3. And McKinley Jackson, another interior defensive lineman in round 3. If you added it up, that's 8 out of their 10 draft picks in the top 3 rounds the last 3 years have gone to the defense. None of those players have been good. None of them have been like, oh, we're definitely going to give that guy a second contract. And that's horrific. And that's a problem. And so you're sitting there like, one of these guys needs to be good. Like, you can throw in and lump in another, group of Shamar Stewart and Demetrius Knight and Barrett Carter. Someone's got to be good, man. Because Trey Hendrickson's not going to be as good as he was the last 2 years. He's had 35 sacks in the last 2 seasons. And he's, just not there. And he is there, but he's not practicing. So is there a gleam of hope where someone breaks out and someone is good and someone is looked forward to of man, we got a steal on the defensive end, because they have not gotten it in so many tries. They've tried so hard and they've just not done it.
No, and it shows. It shows. I mean, the fact that they went out and signed David Bryant and he's already getting second team reps and run is like really
Yeah.
shows how bad, like especially along that defensive line, how bad it has gotten for them. Taven Bryant has been, I mean, a flat out a bust. He has not been good, and he's like has a chance right now to step into this defense and get some serious run as DT3. And that is saying how bad like they have drafted thus far on that defensive side of the football.
Yeah, that's my big season outlook question is how does this defense perform with Shamar Stewart and everything? I mean, obviously you want to get to the, rush the passer a little bit more. For one, obviously, I mean, every draft pick has the potential to kind of bust. So you want to kind of question, following what Matt had just said, 8 draft picks in the last 10. That's insane. Like, that's, at this point, are they able to scout it? Because right now it doesn't look like it. And not only that, but I mean, is your top edge rusher going to be there? Like, probably is our take. More than likely, I would assume that you guys would agree. But right now, it's still up in the air. It's a reasonable question to ask. And with that defense takes a bigger hit than it needs to right now to be able to withstand the rest of the AFC North outside of the Browns. And so, with that being said, can they sneak their way into the playoffs? I don't know, but we'll find out now. I don't know. So let's go ahead. This is a weird layout. We're going to let's do the left row first, and then we'll do the right row as a whole, you think? That's probably right. That's a lot.
Yeah,
but
yeah, because it's in order.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like we should still break. I feel like we should break it up into like halves.
6 games at a time then? We'll do 6 games at a time.
Yeah, 6 games.
All right. I have them beating Cleveland, beating Jacksonville, losing to Minnesota, losing to Denver, losing to Detroit, and then losing to Green Bay.
Oh no, Ryan's got it all wrong. He forgot this is the Bengals. They have to start 0-2. That's just how this team operates. They have to be 0-2 to start the season. So I'm gonna, as tradition, they will be 0-2 in my prediction. They will beat Minnesota. They'll lose to Denver. They'll beat a good Detroit team and then lose to Green Bay. So I don't know, Jim. They're 2-4 through the first 6.
Yeah.
Oof. I mean, I'm not too far off from you guys, but I do think that they open up the season actually going well for the first time, and then it takes a little bit of a weird turn from there. I have them beating both the Browns and the Jags to open up the season here, but then I have them in Bengals fashion going on a little bit of a skid here early on and losing their next 3 games against the Vikings, Broncos, and Lions, and then being able to clean up a little bit against the Packers there, starting off those first 6 weeks 3-3.
I'm going to have them beat the Steelers, beat the Jets, lose to the Bears, and then lose to the Steelers. And then after that, beat the Patriots, lose to the Ravens.
Okay. All right. They're going to lose on Thursday Night Football to the Steelers. They're going to beat the Jets. They're going to lose to your Bears. They're going to head into the bye pretty upset with themselves. I think they're sitting at, what is that? 3-6? Yeah, 3-6. And then they're going to win 2 in a row against Pittsburgh and then against New England. They're going to be 5-6 going into the Thanksgiving game, and they're going to win that one.
There you go. I have them beating the Steelers, Jets, and Bears. They head into that bye on what would be a 4-game win streak if we're including the Packers there from that last little segment. And then they're going to come out of the bye beating both the Steelers and Patriots here as well. So, I mean, this is a good 5-game stretch for them where, they're hoping to get a little bit of that momentum churning a little bit for them. So I'm definitely a little bit higher through the first 11 games than you guys.
I'm going to have them lose to Buffalo, lose to Baltimore, beat Miami, beat Arizona, beat Cleveland, 8-9 for the Bengals this year.
So I have them beating Buffalo. So they'll beat Baltimore and Buffalo in back-to-back weeks, then lose to Baltimore. And this is where the Bengals need to get to. They're 7-7 here. This is a great 3-game stretch to end the season. They're going to win all 3. They're going to be 10-7. And with my current predictions throughout the whole season that we have done, they would be in the playoffs.
Ooh, they are cutting it tight in your predictions here. So, I have them starting the first 2 games here, taking 2 losses against the Ravens and Bills. I just think they're flat out better teams. But then I do have them going on and winning the next 4 games from there. I have them beating the Ravens, beating the Dolphins, beating the Cardinals, and beating the Browns. Significantly higher on this team than what Ryan is, and definitely higher on this team than what Matt is. I have them finishing 12-5. I mean, we saw what they were able to do down the stretch, regardless of bad defense. And you hope that you come in with a new defensive coordinator that can bring a little bit of spark into this room. And again, you're not asking this defense to be world beaters. You're asking them to be average. I mean, they could be even below average and still get this mark if you have the offensive production that you think you're going to out of Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. But yeah, I'm definitely higher on this team than you guys are at 12-5.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not, Matt, I'm glad that, wait, Ben, did you have the, my brain's not working right now.
You were low man at 8. I was the middleman at 10.
Yeah.
And
Ben was at 12-5. I'm just trying to think. Ben, did you have them losing or beating the Bears?
I had them beating the Bears.
Okay. I was going to say, because I didn't want to single you out, but Matt, I'm glad that you and I see eye to eye on that matchup, because I see them beating the Bears in like every schedule prediction that I see. And selfishly, I'm obviously looking for my team, but like that's
you just have a flat out better
gripe
offense.
that I had. So.
If you're going to get in a shootout, you're going to lose. Period.
It's the defense part of it that got me to pick my team over them.
Their over-under is 9.5, minus 115 to the over, minus 105 to the under. So this is Vegas really sitting at, like, are they going to win double-digit games or not? And are they going to make the playoffs or not? Their division, they're not even – I think they're second. I have to imagine they're second. I'm looking at it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're second at plus 260. That's awful value, because I think there's a world where this defense just is as bad as it was last year, and it's like if we got a I don't want to say a relatively healthy T. Higgins season, but like what is a healthy T. Higgins season? Is it 14 games?
14
like we're
games.
just going to pencil him in to miss games, which I think we have to at this point. But I think it's hard to expect like the offense to go up, but then I also have the devil on my shoulder where it's like they have an awful offensive line. Like they could get this right one of these years, and Burrow would get even more time and be even more dynamic with Chase, who like I've been on the record. I think Chase is the best receiver in football over Jefferson too. So it's like I think those two guys betting on. That's why I just put them at 10-7. They're right in there, right in the mix. I think that's an awesome finish to their season. Miami, Arizona, and Cleveland. I think you could have 3 dying teams. Like the first two coaches that are barely surviving. Is that too crazy to say? Like McDaniel, yeah, I think we're all on the same page. But Gannon, I think bad season for him could really smell trouble. And then the Browns, obviously, we talked about the Browns. They're not suited to beat the Bengals twice, but yeah.
And following the whole Andrew Berry comment about, I mean, not comment from him, but about him, I would have to that if you remember just watching the draft, like that overall like morale it looked like between everybody was like really down. Like I don't know if you're like just overall expression,
okay.
The body language, it was just not good in the war room. And so what I'm thinking is like if this doesn't go well for Cleveland, like the cleaning house altogether, it does not seem like out of the realm of possibility, especially when they could be in the running for an Arch Manning if he comes out, or a Drew Aller, what I'm talking. So like that's where my brain goes, and I don't know if you want to pull a Bears and throw the GM and head coach on the hot seat and then be like, oh, here's a brand new quarterback. Like if they learn anything, it's like don't do that. But it's an interesting situation when you talk about just overall the AFC North, and I feel like we still have one team to talk about before we really wrap things up. So why don't we go ahead and get into that one?
The Pittsburgh Steelers, 10-7 last season. They were second in the division. Obviously, they made the wild card against Baltimore, and we were subject to have to watch that game. Their offensive EPA per play was negative .027, which was 20th. Pass block win rate was 62% at 13th, and run block win rate was 71% at 18th. This was relatively a young offensive line last season. James Daniels goes down pretty early. Their first-round pick, Troy Fautanu, goes down early. But for the most part, they figured it out, and it was a pretty good offensive line. I'll give them that. And then defensive EPA per play was negative .019, which was 9th. Pass rush win rate was 46% at 3rd, and then run stop win rate was 30% at 17th. So a pretty decent defense. They're always just going to have a pretty decent defense. And then Aaron Rodgers, talk about him as a quarterback, .057 EPA per play, which was 19th, 44.3% success rate, which was 24th. Their offseason, they were kind of wheeling and dealing. We'll get into their trades that they made. They made a ton of them. But let's start with the TJ Watt number. 3 years, 123. Again, piggybacking off the Jamar Chase, like it's another extension of that mold. 41 annual. I think currently he is the highest paid at non-quarterback. I think Parsons is going to beat that. He's under contract till 2029. Still no void years on his contract, by the way, Pittsburgh. So that's interesting. Deshaun Elliott, their safety, got a 2-year, $12 million extension prior to the Jalen Ramsey trade that we'll talk about. He's under contract till 2028. And then Jalen Warren, he was a notable guy they brought back on an RFA offer. 1 year's $5 million. Everybody loves him more than Najee, so I think keeping him at a price the exact same as Najee, probably some people were like, whoa, they're valued the same. Yeah. But then you get into their trades. Was it the first day? Was it the second day? I can't remember. But DK Metcalf became a Steeler. They traded the 52nd overall pick that got moved around, so it's not like a strict player for player. But they then signed him to a 4-year, $132 million extension. It put him in the top 5 of receivers. He's under contract till 2030. And then simultaneously, a few months later, they traded George Pickens, the similar receiver. They traded him for a 2026 third and a 27 fifth. The reason I bring up the fifth is that'll be used later. Jalen Ramsey, they of course acquired by trading Minkah Fitzpatrick, and they kept his extension that he had with the Dolphins, 4 years, $84 million over the next obvious 4 years. 2029 is when his contract is due to expire. And then Jonnu Smith was also included in the trade. It was a late round pick swap. A 27 fifth is what they traded for Jonnu Smith. So kind of a little throw in of the Pickens trade they used as an asset to get a distressed asset in Jonnu Smith. They gave him a little $12 million extension. I wonder if there's a, down the pike big extension. If he's really, really good this year, they kind of piggyback off this 1-year extension. He's under contract for 2 years. We'll see. And then their free agency, again, the most notable, Aaron Rodgers, signed pretty late, so it doesn't affect their comp formula, which is really, really important when we get to the departures. Darius Slay also came in 1 year, $10 million. Malik Harrison, 2 years, $10 million. Off-ball linebacker Juan Thornhill, 1 year, $3 million. And then Bobby Trees, Robert Woods, receiver, 1 year, kind of the vet minimum, $2 million. Their draft, again, pretty tame. They passed on Shador how many times, and how many times did Mel Kiper's head try and explode? Derek Harmon was in the first round. Caleb Johnson, who, as soon as Caleb Johnson made it to round 3, whoever got him was going to be a winner for me. Obviously, I think he was one of the best players at the position, and he falls to round 3. I thought he was a first-round player. And then Jack Sawyer, edge rusher out of Ohio State, goes in round 4. They also got Will Howard in there, threw that in there. And then their departures. Major departures. Minkah Fitzpatrick, he leaves in the trade. Dan Moore goes to the Titans. Dante Jackson, George Pickens is traded away. And then both the quarterbacks from last year, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Najee Harris goes to the Chargers. James Daniels goes to the Dolphins. Sorry. I was thinking of where he went. But with the way they are currently constructed and Rodgers signing late and the maneuvers they made, they are projected to have 4 comp picks next year. A third, a fourth, a fifth, and a sixth. That is something rare for the Steelers. So they're projected to have 12 picks next year, even with trading for Metcalf and trading for Ramsey. They didn't give much asset management, like asset capital in the future. So that's what's interesting. And then the season outlook question, with the moves they made this offseason, is their ceiling actually higher? That's what I'm trying to figure out, because like these are the two major things with the Steelers. The last time they won the division was 2020. They started 11-0 and they finished 12-4. They had that weird game to the Washington football team and Alex Smith, and they ended up getting housed by Cleveland. The COVID game, Kevin Stefanski couldn't coach it. He was in his basement. They got just obliterated. And from the first snap that went over Big Ben's head, they had no chance. That's the last time they won the division. So you're probably asking, when's the last time they won a playoff game? 2016. The Killer Bees were still like the rave of football, the rave of offensive football. They made the conference title against Tom Brady's Patriots. And oh, by the way, the 28-3 comeback is more recent than the Steelers' last playoff win. I just like realizing that kind of like shattered my brain a little bit, but it's true. That's how long it's been. And they've had like 5 opportunities to win a playoff game, by the way. And they've been down double digits in every single game. So when I ask, is their ceiling any higher, if from making these decisions, bringing in Metcalf, bringing in Ramsey, bringing in Rodgers, it feels like a Rodgers-esque swing. They're swinging because they believe the quarterback is that much better than the last guy, or guys in this case. Do we believe they could actually win a division or win a playoff game? I don't think so, but they're maneuvering as if they can. And so, but again, they have 12 picks next year. So I think I struggle with this team because I think there's a lot of just question marks that most teams I would be like, oh, you're kind of swinging for the wrong reasons. But then it's like, it's Pittsburgh. Like it's just what they do is what you kind of have to say every time. But I've talked too long about this team. You guys join me.
Yeah, I mean, it's what kind of the conversation that we had when all the Ramsey stuff happened. It's just scary. They're going all in on this season. I mean, from like the front office standpoint, yeah, and they're making all these moves as if they were contenders. But I'm looking up and down this roster, and there's not really much confidence for me in their ability to do that. Like, let alone even be a playoff team. And hearing that stat too, by the way, is crazy. I mean, they haven't won a playoff game last time they did it was pre-COVID, which is like a wild thing to put in perspective. It's ridiculous. And again, I question a lot of decisions they make, especially considering they have no plan at quarterback outside of Rodgers as well for the future. But it's going to be an interesting team to watch for sure.
When I look at this roster, you know what the first thing I notice is? Here, hold on a minute. Let me pull this up. There we go. So,
DK Metcalf is going to finish as a top 5 fantasy wide receiver. That's what I noticed.
What I noticed, you're close. This is the most Aaron Rodgers wide receiver room I've ever seen. Like outside of the New York Jets where he just constructed it himself. But like more so, my point being, like this is something where it's like, wow, that's a lot of nothing outside of DK Metcalf. And then it's like, but he's going to pull this out of them somehow. It's just Aaron Rodgers, right? And to me, like the run game is going to be fun to see what happens between these two. You know, you talked about Caleb Johnson, and I think that's a fun pick, honestly. And Kenneth Gainwell as a third string is also not a bad option. You hope that Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, as you do for any quarterback in the league, but specifically in the Steelers situation, because I feel like once he goes down, if he goes down, it's more like that's it. You know what I mean? It's the same conversation that we have about like the Dolphins, for example. Like if Tua's healthy, like they're good, or they can be, but as far as Aaron goes, like it's a bit of a sketchy situation as well when you look at the rest of the quarterbacks in the room. Now, the tight ends that you talked about, Jonnu Smith, Pat Freiermuth, that's a fun group to kind of have, for this team. But overall, I mean, the secondary's, obviously a little bit weaker in my opinion since getting rid of Minka. But it's still a little fun. Slay joining them, like you said, still having Joey Porter, Juan Thornhill, Jalen Ramsey. That's a fun room. And I think that, I might be a little bit higher on them than you guys may be, but I'm excited to figure out exactly where we're at because that's what it's time for. So let's go ahead and let's get started here. To start us off, I have them beating the Jets, losing to the Seahawks, beating the Patriots, losing to the Vikings, and then beating Cleveland to start 3-2 after 6 weeks in the bye week. Matt? Ooh.
I have them starting 3-0, beating the Jets, beating the Seahawks, beating the Patriots. I think it's, again, that's the Pittsburgh mentality. Beat the teams in front of you. And I think they're going to go over to Dublin, lose to the Vikings. They're going to go into that bye 3-1, and then they're going to come out of that bye beating Cleveland. So I have them starting 4-1.
Yeah, I'm not too far off of either of you guys. I'm right there with you in terms of record, Ryan. I have them winning those first 2 games against the Jets and Seahawks, and then losing those next 2 games against the Patriots and Vikings, and then getting a victory within the division against the Browns. They're starting off 3-2.
I'll have them lose to the Bengals. I think that they're actually going to beat the Packers here. They're going to, yes, shocker. Bears fan thinks the Packers are going to lose. Then they'll beat the Colts. They'll lose to the Chargers. They'll lose to the Bengals, and then they're actually going to beat the Bears here. And I know it's crazy for me to say, but until the Bears can beat Aaron Rodgers, I'm picking Aaron Rodgers. So I like being right.
I'm going to I think they beat the Bengals on Thursday night. I'm going to save the Packers game because you'll see why. They are going to beat the Colts. They're going to lose to the Chargers. They're going to lose to the Bengals. They're going to beat the Bears because he owns you.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're all in agreement on that Bears game because, I'll start there. I do have them beating the Bears because, again, Aaron Rodgers does own you guys. But we'll jump back up.
You went out of your way to find the Bears game.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
We're just going to hone in on that one for half a second.
I'm gonna jump back up there to the top. I'm gonna have them lose those 2 games against the Bengals and Packers, but then I'm gonna have them win those next 4 games against the Colts, Chargers, Bengals, and Bears.
And then to round us off, I only have them winning 2 more games all season. That's going to be the Dolphins and Browns games because they'll lose to the Bills, Ravens, Lions, and Ravens. No, wait. I think I had them beating the Ravens actually there. So that's my bad.
You didn't.
I did. Okay, sweet. Even better. Awesome. So Aaron Rodgers loses again. 8-9 for the Steelers. They'll finish 3rd place in the division after they lose the tiebreaker to the Bengals.
Yeah, I have them going on a 4-game skid here, losing to Buffalo.
Hold on a second, Matt. I'm so sorry. I have to correct myself. That wasn't over 500. They'll beat the Ravens week 18, and Ravens get bumped down to 13-4, and
look at that on the fly.
Yeah, and 9-8 for the Steelers. It had to happen. I'm sorry. Please repeat yourself. I cut you off. I apologize.
I have them going on a 4-game skid. They're going to lose to Buffalo. They're then going to lose to Baltimore. They're going to lose at home on Monday Night Football to the Dolphins. They're going to lose to the Lions. And, oh, by the way, Shador time in Week 17, they're going to lose to the Browns, and then they're going to beat the Ravens. So I'm going to go back to that Packers game. They're going to be 8-8. And the Mike Tomlin streak will die at the hands of the Packers because the Packers' hatred for Aaron Rodgers will outweigh. The good in the Packers will overcome Aaron Rodgers. And maybe like the Dark Knight, because they're going to be wearing those stupid yellow uniforms, Bane's going to attack them. Bain's gonna attack. What is it? It's Heinz Field. They're gonna attack Heinz Field.
Yeah.
Bain is. So they're gonna lose
Acrisure
because
Stadium or whatever.
yeah, they're gonna lose to the Packers because of Aaron Rodgers' hatred is gonna destroy the field, and I'm just yapping now. But they're gonna be 8-9, and this dies. This Mike Tomlin streak is over.
Dude, who do I root for? Honestly, like, do I even
Bain?
root for anybody?
Bain.
Yeah.
I hope I'm getting that right. Did Bain attack it?
It was
Yeah,
Bain.
it
Yeah,
was
you're
Bain.
good. You're good.
Okay.
I'll make it easy. They're gonna lose those first 5 games, and then, as I said within that Ravens, segment there, I'm gonna have them win against the Ravens. I'm right there with you guys. If you guys are keeping count with me, I have them finishing 8-9,
Yeah.
which is fantastic that we're all in agreement. That might have been the first time.
All right, let's check the odds.
No, Ben. I had them at 9-8,
Yeah,
finishing
he
just
switched
over
it,
500. I switched.
Oh no! Oh no!
I had to. It was a part of the bit.
So
You have
yeah,
to.
there. I mean, Vegas has got it. Over 8.5 is plus 105. Under is minus 125. So again, like, plus money on Mike Tomlin continuing the streak. But like, also wouldn't that be so poetic where like Mike Tomlin's streak ends because of Aaron Rodgers? Like Aaron Rodgers isn't good enough to win half of his games. That'd be crazy. But
I
like,
like
oh, by
this
the way,
world.
he's
I want
40.
to live in that world.
I would like to see him play that Ravens game and win it. I always like seeing guys walk off the field the final time winning, but maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. All right.
Really quickly, I mean, before we get into final thoughts, this is something that we just completely forgot to mention within the news, and this is unrelated to any team that we had talked about today. But it just goes back to the NFL and the uniform drops. Just absolutely just playing a sick game on me. Last week's podcast, if you guys can remember that far back, we were talking about the Illinois uniforms and how I hated them so much. And then the next day, the Packers dropped these ones, which is basically an exact replica of those Illinois jerseys. I hate it. I think it's gross. It looked gross with Illinois. It looks even worse for the Packers. This doesn't even look like a Packers uniform. If it wasn't Jordan Love and it didn't say Packers on it, I would have never even have guessed it was a Packers uniform. I think it was awful. And if you like the leather helmets, and I'm speaking to you directly, Matt, when I say this, if you like the leather helmets, you're an absolute sicko.
Oh,
Ben, you would have absolutely known that it would be the Packers because it says Packers on the helmet.
I said outside of Jordan Love and the Packers on the helmet.
But
Clown.
But it says it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
yeah, I mean,
looks more like a Bears colorway than anything.
Yeah. Well, if maybe the Packers player didn't wear the Packers uniform, I wouldn't have known that was a Packers uniform.
No, but you can look at an Eagles uniform no matter who's in it. Like, if an Eagles UDFA that you've never heard of before is in the jersey, you can still look at that and be like, that's an Eagles uniform. But like, I just think it's ugly. Like, it's flat out ugly. And again, Matt, you're an absolute sicko for liking those leather helmets, you freak.
it's a throwback, dude. Like all these fake throwbacks to like, oh, the 70s. No, we're kicking it back to the 1920s, baby. We're bringing out the leather helmets. And then I saw some Bears fans who were trying to dunk on it, be like, you stole it from Illinois. You stole that from Illinois. And then Brett Bielema, the GOAT on Twitter, was like, this is an honor for the Packers to use our design. This is an honor that our design made it to the league. I was like, yes. Just fantastic. Continuing.
I love him so much.
But yeah, I think they're goated. I think you're not for not liking those. The Eagles, I kind of want to crap on the Eagles. Don't they have those light blue and like yellow jerseys?
Yeah, and we're not wearing them because they're bad. But yes,
They should
they're-
bring those back.
Those are awful jerseys. They
Oh.
should never bring them back. I never want to see them ever again.
Oh my
Speaking of
god!
throwbacks, the Bears will not be wearing throwbacks this year because of out of respect to Virginia McCaskey, and they will also be wearing a massive, it's huge patch for Virginia McCaskey as well to pay tribute to her.
Are they always
crazy.
gonna? So this is just a 1-year thing? Because I mean,
I believe so. Yeah.
They have the GSH for Hallis on.
You
the
want to know what I
sides.
genuinely think it is?
So what?
Let's save money on patches.
Hmm.
Whatever.
I mean, probably.
The McCaskey
Yeah.
way.
I,
Lame.
I mean,
R.I.P. Pumpkin.
all of this aside,
Pumpkin is dead.
it kind of the two. Oh God, those pumpkin uniforms are awful.
I was a fan.
But
it is what it is.
everything aside, we'll first start off with this, and I'll go to my closing thought. Glad to hear Coach Prime is okay. That's kind of the only college stuff that I have
Yep.
want to talk about. I mean, glad because there were some concerns. For those who don't know, was it bladder? I know he got his bladder removed. But was it
Yeah.
bladder cancer?
He didn't specify.
Yeah. So, but it
No, I
is
have some
really-
college football stuff. You keep going.
Okay, well, it's fine now. Ryan has stepped out of the room, so we can talk a little bit about college. For those who don't know, he's currently getting gas out of his bedroom because of bug spray. But oh no, just kidding. Oh no,
What happened?
no.
Oh no.
Oh God, no. We're talking about Dion and how we're glad Dion is okay.
He's got a Jimmy Clausen jersey on.
But we're talking about Dion and how Dion is okay. I mean, expect College
Yeah.
Corner to come back soon. Not next
No,
week.
it's
It'll
back.
probably
It's
be
back
gone.
right now.
It's back right now, but in 3 weeks, we're gonna have like a college football, like basically college football only. We'll do the news segment, but outside of that, it'll basically just be college football. But again, my big thing is Dion. I'm just
What's
glad
that?
Dion is okay.
What's that? What's that? College corners back? Is that what I'm hearing? Is that what I'm hearing? College corners back?
No!
Is that what's going on?
What is
The national
okay.
champions, college corner back? Is that what we're talking about?
Buddy,
Yeah,
try.
No,
dude.
we're actually.
Mel,
So I
Mel
have
Tucker
one-
has a win
good
against
for Dion.
Michigan. Mel Tucker has more wins against Michigan than what Ryan Day has. I don't want to hear it. Anyways, sorry.
Oh my God, Mel Tucker. No, I have one thing. DJ Lagway's hurt again, so that's like he in the walking boot, and Billy Napier at a press conference was kind of like, "Yeah, Lagway is gonna start. Like he's gonna," and he kind of like rattled off names and just like kind of threw in DJ Lagway's name, and everyone's like, "Wait, what? He's just gonna miss fall camp and not throw?" And oh, by the way, he's in a walking boot, but he's day to day. He's okay. It's just a calf injury, but he's going to be limited entering fall camp, which I think is again. I think he was last year too. So, yeah, Billy Napier, the hottest seat in the country, just continues to somehow get hotter because his meal ticket. The only reason I think he still has a job is hurt again, as he was.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Any closing comments, boys, for the week?
Yeah, my closing thought here. I know it's
We could
one.
go all day.
Yeah, I know. I know it is one preseason game, but I mean, fully take to heart what Matt's little thing underneath his name is there. Enjoy it. We have waited too long for football to be back, and I know, 2 months from now we're gonna be like, we can't believe we watched the Canton game. The Hall of Fame game was awful, but like, enjoy it. Football's back. It's going to be fun. And I just hope that it's going to be better than last year's game because that was bad. If you guys remember back to that, the lights went out in the stadium because of the storm. They had to stop halfway through. But anyways, football's back. Enjoy it. You're going to see Trey Lance and DJ Ukulele.
Hendon
tomorrow.
Hooker.
It's going to be fantastic. Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yes. I have a closing thought. Pigskin payout. Bet the over.
Oh God! Don't bet on preseason football, please.
I'm
do
betting
not
on
do that.
preseason football.
Bet the over.
Oh God! Okay.
It's free.
Well, yeah, my closing comment is please don't. That's horrible. Don't bet on preseason football. Save your money and bet on regular football for a couple weeks later when college football shows up, because that's the fun ones. We want to thank Spotify for Podcasters, Regional Radio Sports Network, and Uppercuts Grooming for helping us grow as a podcast. And until next week, this has been the Pigskin Project. NFC North next week. Let's do it, dude. I can't. My head hurts.